Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. The second EZA in line is the Fizz Super Saiyan Bardock. He's looking very good. We're going to try him out today. I'm not gonna lie, may even take him into red zone as well. He's that capable and can easily be run on rotation in the slot too. Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. All the support is very much appreciated. We do have him rainbow. These sub EZAs, not level 10 links, but he is rainbow. Now in terms of the link up, I did bring the Dokkan Fest Tech Bardock as a friend, just because he links quite well with him. And again, powerful comeback is the 200% category lead. I can only run him on. On a 170 lead, he'll still probably work really well, considering what he's good at is support and being a decent tank, especially once he's super attacked and been hit to trigger his guard. He'll probably do a little bit better on this guy's 200% lead, especially because you can also have this guy, and not to mention Goku's family and Pure Saiyans, and storage figures on Pure Saiyans, especially with the support Tora, would work really well. So we've got him here as well just because of how well he actually links with him. But I'm gonna do this as a rotation, just because, to be fair, you can actually run him on rotation with Birdku, and you're probably taking hardly any damage with these two. He doesn't link too badly with him. He has the standard Super Saiyan Prepared to Battle and Fierce Battle. But once again, just like the SSJ 3 Bardock, you're missing out on a huge attack link in the First Awakened, which you could run the EZA SSJ 3 Bardock with him for that. And again, you could put him in slot 3 or have SSJ 3 Bardock in slot 2 and trigger it that way. That's a big link to miss out on at all times, but we do have majority of links active because of this guy, and that's why I bought him. But pretty super, 144k attack stat, which is not great, but 245k attack stat. And again, that's what he's good at. He's a very good support and a very decent tank. And this is why I can't wait to try him because of how good he looks. But after EZAing, he does provide all types of key +3, HP and attack and defense plus 80%. He does greatly raise defense by 50% for one turn on super, causes supreme damage to enemy and seals. 3.4 million, as I said, he's not here to deal damage. You're not going to be seeing no ridiculous 8, 9, 10+ million attack stats. He's here to tank. That's what he's good for. He does get defense plus 318% at the start of turn. And of course, the reason why he got 318%, if you haven't figured out, is because Saiyan Day takes place on the 18th of March, which is the 18th of the 3rd month. Hence the 318. He then gets attack plus 180% perform a super attack. So even with that, and even at Rainbow, still only doing like a 3 million attack stat. As I said, he's not here to deal damage. Like, his most ideal spot on a team will be slot 3 because of the support. But one thing he does have in his favor after EZAing is he's so good defensively that he is viable to actually be running harder content. There's not many support units in the game who are very viable or very good in red zone. You're looking at a handful of units, and most of them belong to the androids category, like 19 and Jiro, 16 and 18 somewhat. The new side banner unit with Jiro and, what's his name, Mew, I think his name is, or Moo, on the Super 17 banner on JP. So at least you have a very good support who can tank very well. And again, one of his major things is he works so well with the new EZA SSJ 3 Bardock in terms of links. And then not only that, providing support for him and of course the other unit you're going to have on rotation, and also being a very good tank and being viable for red zone. The only thing he will lack on, which is kind of to be expected, is the fact he's not a damage dealer, but he does everything else so well. Now, we do have the First Awakened because of UI Goku, which we're going to see him do a little bit more damage. But in terms of the rest of his passive, he does give all allies key +2 and attack and defense plus 30%. He also guards all attacks within the same turn after receiving an attack. So not really a slot 1 unit. You could risk it, but he does need to be hit to trigger his guard. So you take the first initial attack, you're taking like a bulk of damage or more than damage, or like more damage than you're going to take. 3.59 mil. Again, nothing ridiculous. It's not the attack stats we're used to. But again, that's not why you'd be bringing this guy. But he does need to be hit to trigger that guard. So the initial attack, if you were going to risk it and put him in slot 1, because it is a big risk, don't get me wrong. If you had time advantage or it's like one of the earlier phases, you could probably get away with it very easily. But like, if you're like on Cooler Core, if you're on like the final, or even the second to last phase in the Mega Shenron where you have type disadvantage, final phase of Broly, he will take a lot of damage. So you're taking a huge risk. I mean a huge risk to trigger this guy's guard just so you can have a slot 1 unit. Don't get me wrong, you could do it and you could take a bunch of damage, but then he's got guard, your super attack, get 50% defense raise, he'll be fine. But taking that initial attack, you'll take a lot of damage, which you probably don't want to risk. And if you got super attacked on the first attack, you're going to be dead. But it's something you could risk, because once he gets hit, that's when his guard triggers. But that's why he's so good for slot 2 and slot 3, not only of course because of the support as more of a slot 3 unit, but this is why he can also go in slot 2 on main rotation, because not only does he provide support, but once he supers, not only we have the 318% defense at the start of turn, but not only that, you'll also then super attack and raise his defense by 50%. So he's got a little bit of extra padding, a little bit more defensive coverage before you take that initial blow to actually trigger the Fizzy EZA Bardock's guard. 4.9 million with SSJ 3 Bardock, by the way, really nice. That's actually really nice considering he's a support unit who's a very good tank. But still, that's why you need him in slot 2 or slot 3, so he can super attack, get the 50%, raise on super. That initial attack, while it will still do a chunk of damage, it will do a whole lot less if you were to just put him in slot 1 before he supers. And yeah, that's why he can also now work really well on main rotation. You probably don't want to do it because he won't be dealing hardly any damage in red zone, because he's only doing like between 3 and just under 5 mil. He's actually viable in main rotation, and something I might consider testing. Because considering most of these links you won't be having active with Birdcoo, you'd only be having Super Saiyan, Prepared for Battle, and Fierce Battle. I'd actually run him on rotation with Birdcoo. Birdcoo's in slot 1, this guy's in slot 2. I'd be tanking everything, and it would be amazing. It would be amazing. Not to mention if you run him on a Bond of Parent and Child team, Goku's family, or of course the Tech Bardock's 200% lead of Goku's family and Pure Saiyans, or not Pure Saiyans, but at least that 170 portion. You could also have the transforming EZA Gohan, the EZA SSJ 2 Gohan that we literally just got on Global, and have that as a whole rotation. Not only will Gohan be getting support, the whole rotation be getting support, but that's a whole rotation with guard, Gohan and Birdcoo with stack. Like, that's a whole brick wall of a rotation. But in general, it's a very, very solid EZA, and he does what he needs to do very, very well. Like, very, very well. And the fact he's now viable as a second slot unit in some of the harder content in the game, it's kind of wild, considering how old this guy is. Like, he came out in 2017. But of course, his best spot will be slot 3, so you can utilize that support on each rotation. But still, a very, very good EZA, good support, great tank. Could risk him in slot 1, but you'll take a bag of damage to trigger the guard, which is why slot 2 works so well in slot 3, so you can get the 50% defense raise and have a bit of coverage first. And then, of course, he'll get an additional 30% defense in the same turn when guard is activated. So it'll get even bulkier. But let me think down in the comments. I think he's really, really good. If not, actually, I was going to say this is outrageous, but I do kind of believe because of how good he is defensively and the support, he's probably better than the SSJ 3 Bardock. But that's my personal opinion. As I said, let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one, guys, and peace.